The Apex Legends developers invited me to talk about their anti-cheat efforts. So we've got some information to share today about their progress of anti-cheat, some upcoming features to stop cheaters, and yes, more importantly, hundreds of thousands of people are getting banned. So this is the first time they've publicly shared actual ban stats. They've shared details about match infection rates and report rates, but actual ban numbers never been shown before. This is the first time we've seen it. Now, this is nice to see because it shows that there are people getting actively banned, a lot more than you may first think. Now, if we compare this new information with the data they shared in the past, we can also see that the match infection rate is going down. So the proportion of matches that have cheaters in is on a downward trend, which would suggest that recent anti-cheat efforts are doing some work and they are bringing the number of cheaters down. I would like to ask you, how's your experience been with cheaters? Is it a lot compared to the past? Is it less? Obviously, these stats are going to be mostly based on ranked, specifically the match infection rate here, as this is where most cheaters will congregate. And it's important to note that there's always going to be a proportionally larger number of cheaters in the higher end ranks, just because cheaters just farm their way to the high-end ranks very quickly. Now, what is this match infection rate stat anyway? Well, it's the percentage of matches where at least one person was reported at least 3 times and banned for cheating in the last 14 days. In other words, it's impossible for them to pinpoint exactly how many cheaters there are in every match because sometimes it takes a little while for them to catch these cheaters. But this is the most accurate way to make an estimation. In ranked, overall, this means that the last couple splits have seen 6 to 7% of ranked matches have cheaters. Compare this to a year ago where it was between 10 and 14% of infected matches. That's halved. They halved the number of cheaters across matches, which is definitely a good step in the right direction. Now, if there's anything to take from all of this information so far, is that reporting players is incredibly important. Whilst there are automatic tools to catch cheaters, using the report function will work. And more importantly, if you feel like there's someone suspicious on the enemy team, if you report them and 2 other players report them in a match, they will be flagged as a potential cheater and flagged for further manual review, which means if they are cheating and somehow going under the radar, they may have some pro cheats or using external devices, then this method still gets them in the radar of the anti-cheat team and gives them a chance to be banned if they are legitimately cheating. So definitely, if you ever see anyone suspicious, do report them. There's nothing wrong with reporting a player. You don't have to worry that your account will be flagged if you report too many cases. They don't have a trust system based on how many times you report somebody. They just go off the data. If one player in a match gets reported multiple times by a multitude of other players, then that player is going to be checked for review no matter what. So if you see someone that looks suspicious, report them. It will go a long way. They've also worked hard to stop teaming, and we can see that overall teaming reports are down, which would suggest that most teamers have stopped out of fear of getting banned, which is really good. I don't really see any teamers on PC that often. There were some seasons where it was pretty bad, but I think this is more of a console issue. How has teaming been for you? Have you noticed it much? I feel like I haven't seen as many posts online about it, so it seems like that's going in the right direction there. They've also greatly improved their automated bot detection methods, which is good for people who farm accounts and use bot farms to basically mass farm accounts, which are then used to sell so that cheaters can buy new accounts that are ready to play ranked as soon as possible. This is actually a really good step for anti-cheat detection, because when you ban a cheater will most likely go online and buy a new account that then they can use immediately in ranked to just farm ranked again with their cheats. And all of these accounts that can be bought online have been farmed by these bot farms that just automate leveling up and automate the ranked challenges so that they are ready and able to play ranked. Now, by cutting down on these bot farms, then the source of these accounts will be limited and cheaters won't be able to as readily get their hands on these accounts. Now, there's still going to be thousands of accounts available on sale from the past that still haven't been sold. I'm sure these bot farms have a lot of backup accounts ready to go, but if they keep tackling down on this bot farm issue, then eventually the number of accounts to sell online will be so low that cheaters are going to struggle to go online and just buy an account within seconds to go and ruin people's ranked games. So this is a really good important step as well. The next thing to talk about is aimbots and recoil detection. One of the biggest issues with Apex right now and their anti-cheat effort is that Cronus and Zim players specifically, and those that use external devices to remove their recoil or give them some kind of extra aim advantage that should not be humanly possible, is hard to detect. And the devs that I spoke to essentially said that it's actually really hard to detect Zim and Cronus, especially without the support of first parties like Xbox and PlayStation. And it's a lot harder than you would first think, right? And that was something that surprised me. I always thought that surely it's easy for PlayStation and Xbox to detect that a Zim and a Cronus is being plugged in. And I'm not sure on the specifics there, but essentially they said that it's really hard to do without much better support from the first party developers, PlayStation and Xbox. So that's why Cronus and Zims are so rampant in games like Apex and Siege. I actually remember reading online about how Fortnite was detecting Cronus and Zims and banning players from using them. With a bit of research today, it turns out they aren't able to detect it right now, and they weren't able to. I'm not sure. Obviously, Fortnite is having this issue as well. There doesn't seem to be an easy solution as far as detecting it on the console level, but this is where Apex is coming in to develop an in-house model that will be able to detect if your recoil or aim is inhuman. And this in-development model is going to solve a lot of issues with the cheating problem in the game, because it's not going to rely on detecting whether you're using external software. It's going to determine if you're doing something illegal based on your behavior. It will look at how your aim is and your recoil patterns and your aim control. And if it notices that you are doing something that is inhuman, it will flag your account for review to be banned. Which is really, really big, because it means it will be able to detect Cronus, Sends, and Zims, because it's going off the behavior of the player and how they're playing, and not based on what devices are plugged into your console or PC. Now, this is also really big for PC anti-cheat as well. A lot of people might be using cheats on their Apex account that isn't even connected to their PC. They might be using DMAs, which essentially allow them to have cheats plugged in that bypass the security systems on the anti-cheat, right? The anti-cheat doesn't even know that it's using anything. Also, people have second PCs to have cheats that are then shared to another PC. There are many different ways to sort of bypass traditional anti-cheat. So this method, once it's developed and modeled, that will be able to determine if you're using inhuman aim control, is really great. It doesn't matter what kind of cheats you use, how you try to hide it, the game will be able to determine that your recoil control is not legit, and it will then flag you for banning, which should hopefully mean the end of Cronus, Zens, and Zims. If you use these products in the future, once this model has been released, then you have a very good chance of being banned. So that's a really good step in the right direction. I also would like to just talk briefly on the fact that I was able to talk to the developers in person at this it was a small little event. There are a few other creators there as well. It was good. It was nice to be able to hear the developers on the other side share their experience and thoughts on dealing with cheaters. And it's something that we very rarely get to see. And recently their communication efforts have been improved a lot. So in the past, people would always ask me, they have issues with the game, they have problems, they have frustrations. And the only response I could give to people was, I know, man, it sucks. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. I don't know what I can do. I'm just a creator. But now my relationship with the developers has changed, because their efforts to kind of connect with the community has improved massively. So if you have any issues with the game, whether it's anti-cheat related, whether it's matchmaking problems, whether it's issues with the performance, whether it's just any little frustrations or problems you're having with Apex, let me know in the comments. Tell me, message me, come to my live streams, let me know, because then I can pass that on to the developers. It's also important to note that they're doing a lot of AMAs on the Reddit. If you put your comments in there, voice your frustrations. The developers are listening and actively trying to get in touch with the community aspect as much as they possibly can. I know in the past there's been a bit of a lack of communication between the devs and the community. There's been a lot of issues between that communication side. A lot of players and community members raise their pitchforks at the devs, and sometimes the devs have sort of responded in ways that haven't gone so well with the community. But now the ties have been fixed. So if there's anything that you have problems with the game, how the devs in AMAs, let me know, and we can keep the game growing and let it become the game that we all want it to be, right? So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this informational, and I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio.